Hello everyone. In this session, I'll be discussing about the behavior of and or logical operators in Python. How do they behave in different situations? So let's say I have this and operator and or operator. So we all know that. So let's start with the and operator. So how does the and operator work? So let's say I have a value something like x is equal to true and y is equal to false. So if I try to print x and y, what will happen is this AND operator will check whether both the values are true or not. So the basic definition of AND operator is that AND will check whether both the values are true or not. If both are true, it will return true, or else it will return false. That is what we have understood till now. So let us run this code and I get false here. Why am I getting false here? Because the one of the value is true and one of the value is false. So that's why we are getting false. But and we can also check something like if I write both of them as true and if I run this code, I get true. But this is not the case in all the scenarios. So we'll check the different scenarios where this AND behavior will and logical operator will behave differently, and we will try to understand how it works. Okay, so let us check now. So now we are using, what are we using in x and y? In x and y we are considering only boolean values. That means we are taking only true or false. But let's say x and y can have different values. Let's say I have here true, or let's say I have here 3 and I have here 5. So I want to print x and y. What will happen now? Here, when I'm using this AND operator, what it is checking whether x and y are true values or not. Yes, we can see from here that x and y both are true values. X is a true value because we know that all numbers except 0 are true values, right? So except 0, whatever number I take, whether it is an int, whether it is a float, whether it is an integer or float, positive or negative, everything will be true, but only 0 will be false. But now here what is happening? 3 and 5 both are true. But what are we expecting? Yes, if both of them are true values, then the answer should be, then the resultant answer should be true. But if I run this code, I will see that I'm getting 5 in the output. So how is this happening? So from here, we need to reframe our definition of the AND logical operator. It is not like if both the values are true, then we will get true. It is not like that. So we have to understand now what happens here is, here there are some rules. So let's say I'll take rule number 1. The first rule is if both the values are true values, if both the values are true values, it will return the second value. It will return the second value. So let us check this rule with different values. Okay. So when I'm taking true and true, what is happening? I'm taking both the values as true values. So when I run this code and when I'm getting the true as answer, actually I'm getting the second value. That is the second true. Okay, then if we are not clear with this, then we can go with other examples. Like let me take true and let me take another true value. Let's say 35. 35 is an integer and it is a true value. So when I save this file and run the code, I am getting 35 in the output. So from here I can see that when both the values are true values, it will return us the second value. So if we are still not happy with the explanation, we can go with more examples. So let me take true and take another true value minus 45.67. This is also a true value. So if I check it now, I'm getting minus 45.67, right? More values if you want, we can check something like a string. Not any non-empty string is a true value, right? So let me take hello. Hello is a true value. So when I save this and run the code, I'm getting hello in the output. This way we can check with any true value and we will see that if both the values are true values, it will return the second value. Okay. Next, rule number two is if one of the values is a falsy value. I hope you understand what is a falsy value. Falsy value is which values evaluate to false. Let's say we have 0 or an empty string or the boolean value false. These are all falsy value. So if one of the values is a falsy value, it will return the falsy value. It will return the falsy value. If the first value is a falsy value, it will return the first value. If the second value is a falsy value, it will return the second value. Okay. If one of the values is falsy, so let us check now. So let's say first value is true, second value is false. I'll start with the most basic boolean example. So here what will happen? I am doing x and y. So if I try to run this, I should get the what it was said in the rule. If one of the values is a false value, it will return the false value. So which one is a false value? The second one. So I'll get the second one as output. So let us check now. I got false in the output. In the same way, let me check with other values. Like instead of false, if I write an empty string, I'll get the second value as output. The empty string, I cannot see anything here because it is an empty string. So let us try with other examples. Let's say I write here 0 and I write here 45. So one of the values is a false value. Which one? The first one. So I'll get the first value as output. I'm getting 0. In the same way, what I can write here, I can put here something like anything more we can use. Okay, an empty string here, and here I can write minus 67. So what will happen? Minus 67 is a true value, but this empty string is a false value. So again, I will get empty string in the output. Okay. So this way we can see that if one of the values is a false value, it will return the false value. What will happen if both are false values? So let's say this and this. It will again, now let me write that third rule. The third rule is nothing but an extension of the second rule. If we can understand the second rule, the same thing will happen actually. So let me do that. Rule number 3 is if both the values are falsy values, if both the values are falsy values, it will return the first value. So what happens is if I combine this rule number 2 and rule number 3, we can say that the AND operator returns the first false value if present. See, if both the values are true values, it will return the second value. But if one of them is a false value or both of them are false values, what it will do? It will return the first false value. So let's say I have here 56 and I have here 0. What is the first false value? So when it will go from left to right, x and y. So what will happen? When it encounters x, it will see that x is not a false value. So it will move on to the second value. And if the second value is true, it will return the second value. If it is false, we'll get the second value as return value of the AND operation. Okay, let us now check if both are false values. Let's say empty string and 0. So what do I get? I get the first false value, that is the empty string. If I write here empty string here and 0 in the first value, so what I should get? The first false value is 0. So I'll get the 0 when calculated from left to right, isn't it? from when we go from left to right, at X itself, we are getting the false value. So we'll get the X as output, right? So this is how it works. So let me have here 78. So what is happening here? 78 and empty string here in Y. So 78 is a true value. It will ignore it and it will go to the second value. Second value is a false value. So we'll get the empty string as output. So let me run this. We are getting empty string as output. Okay. So what happens here is, so again, we can come up with some more explanation here, is that whenever the first value is true value, it will always return the second value, whatever be the second value. When I'm doing X and Y, if X is a true value, the answer will always be Y, regardless of Y is a true value or false value. Okay. So let's say I have here 56. So what will happen? The first value is true value 78. So I'll always get 56. Whatever I write here, let's say 0. If I have here 0, I'll get 0. If the first value is true value, we'll always get the second value. So I can also write like that. If the first value is truthy, it returns the second value. Because these are the observations we have observed from the AND operation. So let's say first value is true value, the second value is false value. So if the first value is true value, I'll always get the second value, right? So if I'm putting a 0, I'm getting 0. If I put here empty string, I'll get empty string here. If I write here 45, or let's say minus 21.09, so regardless of the second value's truthiness or falseness, we'll always get the second value if the first value is a true value. So this is how the AND operation works, right? If both of them are false value, we'll get the first false value, that is the first value. Okay, fine. Next, let us move on to the OR operator, how the OR operator will work. So let me go back to our Boolean values and let me write here X or Y. So we'll now discuss about the OR logical operator. So how does it work? Till now what we know is that if one of the values is true, it will return true, right? So let me remove these rules. We'll have a new set of rules now. So I'm getting true. If one of them is true, I'm getting true. Again, if I write here false in one of them, still I get true. If I write here false and true in the second value, still I get true. So by these examples, it is clear that if one of the values is true, we are getting true. But again, that is not the case. We may have different values in the variables. So let us try with different values. Let me write here 45 and true here. So what will happen? So when I run this, I'm getting that I'm getting 45 in the answer. So the rule number 1, let us check. So the rule number 1 is it so I want to tell that it returns the first true value. So we'll come to that scenario, but let me give here. If one of them is truthy, if one of them is a truthy value, it returns that truthy value. Okay, it doesn't actually return the Boolean value, but it will return that particular truthy value, which is truthy. So now let us see what is happening here. Here I can take 45 and false. What will happen? If one of them is true value, it returns that true value. So which one of them is true value? The first one. So I'll get the first value as output. I'm getting 5. Let's say I have here 0.67 and false here. So what will happen? If one of them is a true value, I'll get the true value as output. So 0.67 is the true value. So I'll get 0.67. Let me put here false. And let me write here minus 98.66. So if one of them is a true value, that means this minus 98.6 is a true value. So it will return that particular true value. So let us check that. Yes, we got that. Minus 98.66. This way we can check for different scenarios. Like false is there, I can put an empty string. Still I'll get the minus 98.66. If I write here hello and 0, so what I will get? I'll get hello in the output. So this is how it works. So from here I can also say that it returns the first true value. Unlike AND operation, what was happening there, it returns the first false value if possible. Here what it will do, it will return the first true value if possible. So here what is happening, the first true value is hello when we go from left to right. So I get here hello. If I write here empty string and I write here 78, I get the first true value, that is 78. So this is how it will work when one of them is a true value. Now let's see what happens with other scenarios. Next point is, if both of them are falsy values, if both of them are falsy values, it returns the second value. Okay, if both of them are falsy values, it returns the second value. Now let us see. So it works from left to right. So both of them are falsy values. Let's say empty string and 0. So what will happen? I should get, if both of them are falsy values, I should get the second value, that is 0. I am getting 0. Now let's say I write here 0 and empty string. So which means again it will return the second value because both of them are falsy values. So I should get empty string in the output. This is how it works. I am getting empty string. Let me write here. What else I can write here? We have a none type, right? I think none also works as false value. So I'm getting empty string here. So let me put here none and here I put 0. So what I should get? I should get the second value, that is none in the output. So this is how the OR operator will work when both the values are false values. Now the third part is, if third rule is, if both the values are truthy values, then what will happen? If both the values are truthy values, it will still return the first value. So it returns the first value. So it is actually an extension of the first rule. So if one of them is truthy value, it returns that truthy value. So what will happen if both the values are truthy values? Actually, it is checking if any one of them is truthy value. So it will start from left to right. The moment it gets the first value as truthy value, it will return that value itself. So if both the values are truthy values, it returns the first value. Let us check now. So what we'll do? We'll take 45 here and we'll take here something like a string hi. So what will happen? If both the values are truthy values, it returns the first value. So let us check. I got the first value 45. Let's say I have here hello and hi. So what I should get? I'll get hello. Let's say I have here 78.99. So both the values are truthy, so it will return the first value. So I can see I have got hello in the output, which is the first value. So this is how it will work if both the values are truthy values, right? So this is how the and or logical operators will behave in different scenarios, because we may have different values, and these values are can be converted to a Boolean value. Like is a string hello can be taken as a truthy value. 78.99 can be taken as a truthy value. 0 can be taken as a false value. So this is how these and or logical operators will behave. Thank you and keep watching.